Welcome to the Journey Principles, where we show you how to go from stuck to unstoppable with life strategies that work. Now, here's your host and creator of the Transform You framework, Scoggins.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Journey Principles. I hope you're doing awesome on this amazing day and you're getting a lot of value from everything we've given you so far. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're glad to have you. If you've been a returning community group member and you're part of the tribe, love to having you as well. We just love giving you guys information that helps you guys get stuff done. So as you guys already know, we like to take you from stuck to unstoppable with life mastery principles that are simple and easy to follow. That's our style. That's what we do. And as for those of you who are new, I got my buddy Connor Kraft, with the Director of Connections here at Journey Principles. And for those of you who already know who Connor is, Connor, say what's up.
What's up, guys?
I'm always jealous because you have better hair. Well, better hair. I don't have hair, so.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You set the bar pretty low for me there, but.
Yeah, he doesn't. In fact, feel free to send all your hair products in. We'll make sure Connor gets them.
Yeah, I'll test them and review them on the Journey Principles YouTube channel.
You know what? We could always add that to the playlist. Connor's hair gel review thing.
Oh man. My hair's really not that great. It's honestly not, but
whatever. He's got this. So we did recently. We did a brief photo shoot that we're doing for some new products we're bringing you guys to give you guys. And Connor had his headshots, and he's got that flowing. For those of you on YouTube, you can see my hand gestures, the flowing hair. He can slow motion, flip his hair in the wind and all that kind of stuff. But no, dude, some of those photos, man, you look like a model. Well, straight up, man.
Dude, yeah, but I do think you're more photogenic than me. You are insanely photogenic.
No. Feel free to put that in the comments. He's definitely more photogenic than me.
No, I always get so surprised because seriously, you just look good in any pose. It's ridiculous.
It's because everything reflects off my forehead. Oh, man. All right, well, what are we talking about today, my friend?
Beliefs. The power of beliefs and why they are important.
Connor peppers me with questions on belief systems so much. Well, hopefully we'll have a good show because
there's a lot of people talking about it. I mean, I'm sure
true.
Maybe if you're listening and you've studied some sort of personal development elsewhere, you might have heard of limiting beliefs. You may have heard of the power of belief.
Yeah.
And it's important to believe that you can do it. I mean, I know that's a cliche, but beliefs are very, very, very powerful, and they're really something that once you dive into them, they can be transformative if you understand how to leverage them.
Totally. I think one of the questions I want to attempt to answer, or attempt to have you answer in your car or on your computer screen or your phone, wherever you're watching or listening, is, are your beliefs currently holding you back? Okay. I will tell you that obviously a lot of you guys already know part of my story, sleeping in a car, went on to develop businesses, so on and so forth. But one of my biggest hurdles that I had to overcome in doing that and going from stuck to what I would deem as unstoppable, meaning I get to make progress every day in my life, is how I saw myself. Okay, I was limited so much more by my own beliefs about my own possibilities than any other adversity that I've ever faced in my entire life.
So your beliefs held you back more than just about anything else?
Oh, it did hold me back more than anything else. All right, imagine growing up as a kid with, loving parents or parental figures. I genuinely believe they love me. Okay, but had their own struggles. Okay. We didn't have a whole lot growing up. As a rule of thumb, we in and out. I've lived in several trailers and whatnot. I've obviously lived without shelter altogether. But more than anything, if your parents don't have a great level of self-awareness themselves about their strengths, struggles, and blind spots, then inevitably what happens is those parental figures will just take the information that was programmed into them and then program you with it.
Of course, and that's why, several podcasts ago we talked about influences, and one of the first primary types, I believe it was the first type of influences.
Parental figures,
is parental figures.
Right.
And
doesn't have to be mom or dad, but parental figures.
Right, and so your influences, because I actually remembered, the reason I kind of did a double take when you said the beliefs held you back, because I was like, I remembered you saying it was your influences, but then I remembered your influences are where your beliefs come from.
Exactly. Well, it's one of the places that beliefs come from.
Right.
Okay. So the influences lesson, if you haven't checked that out, I think we did a whiteboard lesson on it by now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Weeks ago.
I can't keep track of the content calendar, guys. But we did a whiteboard lesson on it. We did a face-to-face video on it. Now we've done a podcast on it for sure. It does play into a huge role in your beliefs. So I like the goofy YouTube videos that get shared on social media. And one of them back in the day was this little I call it baby toddler. And the mom is trying to feed the toddler Sloppy Joes. Okay. And she's like, no, it's a Sloppy Joe, honey. And he's going, no, he's poop. He's poop. And she's like, no, baby, it's Sloppy Joe's. And he said, no, it's poop. It's poop. It's icky poop. Right? And it goes back and forth for probably 10 or 15 minutes. Of course, the parents
This is a commercial?
No. This was a YouTube video that went viral.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Well, goofiness, just go ahead and get on YouTube and search It's Poop. And this baby will pop up where the mother is trying to convince him to eat a Sloppy Joe sandwich.
Okay.
And he's like, no, Mommy, it's poop. And he's like, Mom, he's like getting emotional. He's like, don't make me eat poop, Mom, kind of thing.
Because he really believed it?
He really believed he was eating poop.
Wow.
That's how powerful a belief can be. A belief has the power to heal you or make you sick. What you believe about yourself is the very thing that determines whether or not you're able to excel in your life or whether or not you hold still in your life. Which is why we're going to knock out beliefs today. Actually, I think we'll spend the next 2 episodes on beliefs because it's so important. One of the greatest things that I learned a long time ago is that I had to overcome my own belief that I was somehow unworthy or unprepared or ill-prepared to become the man, ironically, that I felt like I needed to become. Even growing up, I always felt like I had something greater I was supposed to be doing. Had no idea what it was. I just knew that the life that I had felt unnatural. Okay. Contrast that to the life that I have now. Feels a whole lot more fulfilling and natural. Okay. Not because of financial resources, not because of things, but because of operating in your sweet spot. Now, in order to kind of go over that chasm, if you will, you've got to make sure that you get really clear on the beliefs that you have. And there are a lot of different things that go into the beliefs. In the next podcast, I think we'll break down the top 4 that kind of go into that. But for the time being, one of the things that I love most that Gandhi said, I love a fellow bald guy, right? Fellow altruist.
There you go.
Fellow bald altruist. Listen to this. Pay attention to this, guys. And some of you guys may have heard this, but it bears repeating. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny.
I got goosebumps.
It's because it's real. If you feel like your life is not measuring up to what you think it is supposed to be, rather than looking at all the people, places, or things that you feel like are impeding your progress, look at the mirror and ask yourself, do I really feel like I believe I can do more or I'm meant for more? Okay, really do that. Because there's a good chance you're going to discover that some of those things that are quote unquote impeding your progress are essentially just those, what do you call them? It just escaped my brain.
A limiting belief?
No, not a limiting belief. It's the excuse.
Oh.
It's an excuse.
You know what's interesting regarding beliefs is thinking about the belief of like, I can do it, right? Mm-hmm. I struggled with that belief for a long time without even recognizing that I did. Because what's crazy is I've heard about beliefs from Tony Robbins and all kinds of people for years. Yeah. And every time I heard it, I was like, oh, I don't have any problems there, no problem. And I just assumed that I was on top of it because I was like, I believe I can do it. I believe I can do it. But there's an interesting concept that I learned, and I want to know, ask you if it's true, because this is just kind of an observation that I've noticed. But I found out that my belief wasn't 100% like I did believe that I could do it, but I struggled to believe that I 100% would be successful. Yeah. And what I kind of noticed is that
doubt.
Exactly. What I was going to say is beliefs are hindered by doubt and fear. Mm-hmm. And if you have even a little bit of fear.
You should write that down. Yeah. He's getting quote responsibility next week on Instagram.
For sure.
Did you steal that or make that up on the spot?
I just made that up on the spot.
Look at there. Look at that, guys.
But yeah, so if beliefs are hindered by doubt or fear, then even if you have let's say you believe that you can be a successful person, you believe that you can, let's say that you want to be let's say you're a musician and you want to get famous and, have a song that's, let's say, goes platinum.
Yeah.
Okay. You believe that you can. You believe that you do have the potential and the talent, but you have all this fear of, like, what if it never happens? What if I'm not good enough?
What if I don't have resources?
And those what
training?
ifs are a poison to that belief that takes it from 100% unwavering belief, which is what you really want, to something that has actually doubt that creeps in. And that doubt is where I've found limiting beliefs get formed, because you tell yourself a story of, like, what could happen in the negative, which hinders that belief. So you might believe, of course, I have strong belief. Yeah. But I think it's really important to pay attention to this podcast, because you might be like I was and believe that you have these strong, positive beliefs. But listen, I'm saying believe a lot, but believe it or not, your beliefs will hold you back if they aren't practically unwavering.
Well, and one of the things that makes changing your belief system, working your belief system so difficult is the fact that a negative belief system or self-talk, self-doubt, self-confidence, all the stuff that goes into a belief sits side by side on all the quality, healthy beliefs that you had. So a lot of times you have to rummage around through the different beliefs you have to kind of figure out what you have to kind of correct or work on. And there's only a couple different ways that I've managed to be successful at doing that. First of all, you have to be in a state of reflection. You have to willing to be honestly look at yourself without judgment, without condemnation, without any level of other than, hey, I want to explore and discover what's there.
Right.
Okay. That's it. Okay. The problem is life moves so fast, a lot of people don't know when to do it, when to actually do the exercise, to even start the exercise. So here's what I like to tell people to do when they're trying to figure out if they have a limiting belief or a negative belief that they've kind of rehearsing in their mind and kind of plays that movie reel over and over again where the person always gets stabbed or the tire always gets flat or whatever, okay? Go to your most recent negative outcome. In other words, you had hoped an outcome would be blank, and unfortunately the outcome had a negative or adverse thing to your expectations. Okay? Go to that one thing. Now, once you have that outcome, retrace your steps all the way through the Gandhi principle.
You're talking about the beliefs come your thoughts.
Exactly. Go backwards. There's great wisdom in that quote. For example, we'll start with habits. Okay, what habit played a part in what happened? Your outcome. Okay. Out of that habit, were there specific actions that happened that played a part in your negative outcome? What were you telling yourself when you made the decision
to take those actions?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you go backwards. Okay.
What were your thoughts, and then you get to your beliefs.
Exactly. Negative beliefs are a lot like poison oak. Okay. Once they attach the oak tree and deterioration starts to happen, all of a sudden it tries to take root and kind of overhaul the entire plant.
I've heard some influencers say that even 1% doubt is a poison that will keep you from success.
It can be, for sure. Now, I will say that I won't say impossible. It's incredibly difficult.
To be like 100%?
To be 100%.
Right.
Okay. The goal of life is not to be 100%. The goal of life is to be making progress, right? That's why when people start working with us, either one-to-one or through the online platform we're building or any of the other things that we're doing, we don't allow them to focus on all the negative belief systems they have, okay? We ask them or encourage them to focus on one at a time, okay? Because here's the cool thing about belief specifically. You can change your belief with a belief. Here's what I mean by that. If you take the time to work on a negative belief, let's say we have self-worth issues. I'm not worthy. Okay, that's a typical negative belief system that a lot of people share. Okay, a lot of times that happens at parental level, maybe influential level, relational level, and you look back to the influences. Okay. Well, when you start to digest and take that belief apart, the person starts to get clarity. They do what I call the Gandhi exercise. okay, which was what we just did. We walk our way back through the Gandhi exercise to figure out where that belief originated. Then we discover where it actually got spoken into or put in their life. And then you're able to go rip that up by the root. So you're ripping a plant up by the root, okay? In other words, a lot of people make the mistake when they go to take weeds out of the yard. They just cut off the leaves that are sticking up above the ground.
Right.
Well, what happens? It gets worse.
It grows back
and spreads.
Yeah.
Okay. However, if you get a weed up by the root, then the weed rarely comes back. Okay. Now, granted, you're weeding a whole yard. It's going to take you a while, right? Okay. Same concept with belief. Okay. I like to use the root analogy for belief systems because if you can figure out where the root is, you can actually rip it up by the root. Once you've done it once, you now have the encouragement to know that you've done it once and you can do it again. So you actually have confidence the second time you go to fight a negative belief.
Which it's interesting you say that because I've experienced that the opposite can be true as well. So a big limiting belief of mine was around my ability to be a successful entrepreneur. So early on in my career, between the ages of 15 and 16, really when I started.
Which really sounds kind of wild, but he had a successful operational business.
That's why I'm so young. but literally, we
just thought you had good hair.
So at 16, I actually had different hair back then, but at 16, I had a semi-successful software company. And so I had very high belief about myself. I thought that I was capable.
We called it arrogance.
Yes, exactly. I thought I was capable of a ton of stuff. And then I had several years of kind of being stuck because my maturity level and my knowledge and my skill set wasn't at the point where I was able to really grow beyond what I had accomplished at 16. What ended up happening is because I refused to go backwards and go back to what I was doing at 16 and work step by step from there, I was so focused on building like $1 million business tomorrow, which is stupid. But at the time I was like, yeah, I could do this. 1 year would pass and I would be no further. I would have just kind of come up with a bunch of ideas and made very minimal progress. And I was like, okay, well, next year I got this. Another year would pass. And then another year would pass. And then another year would pass. And I stayed stuck basically in the same spot, kind of running in circles, essentially coming up with idea after idea after idea. And nothing ever essentially materialized. And so here I was sitting at basically when I came to meet you several years later around the age of 19. And even though I thought that, and again, this was arrogance, even though I thought that I had the strongest belief that I was going to be the most successful person ever.
I'll never forget that 4-hour window.
Yeah. I thought that I had this strong belief, but you identified immediately, no, you have doubt. You have a limiting belief. You don't think you can do it. And it's interesting because those years of what I had considered failure and what it really was is obviously I was learning. Yeah. Okay. But I had seen, I was somewhat successful at 16 and then here I am at 19 and I've made no progress. Now I think I suck. Now I basically I've had a few years of essentially making no progress. Doubt has crept in. Yeah. I'm now starting to get afraid because I left high school for this. Yeah. Because I was making money at 16. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm making money.
I'm the next Bill Gates or the next
right. So I was like, well, they dropped out and you know, so I'm probably fine. And you know, and I'm a big risk taker. I take the most insane, stupid risks, arguably.
That's another story for another day.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so I was at this point where my quote unquote failures, even though they were just lessons, for years had hindered my belief. And now I had a limiting belief of, oh crap, what if I actually don't have what it takes? Yeah. What if I don't? And this belief was such a poison in me that once I actually did start seeing progress, and you and your wife and a number of people who have given me compliments and said, hey, I'm so proud of you for the progress, it wrecks me. Like I'll actually break down crying.
I'm proud of you even mentioned that on air. Good for you, man.
I'm fully transparent, but like I'll have a moment where I just break down sobbing because I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually making progress. After all this time of being stuck, I actually feel like I can maybe do it. That was the first sign that I was wrong about my idea that I had. I thought I had bulletproof belief. I did not.
Most people don't, and most people were deceived. Yeah. So if you remember our first meeting that you referred to, you came out and you said, hey, look, no, I'm good at X, Y, Z. And I'm like, okay. And I just kept asking you questions. Okay. And then we got to the part where you were like, oh, yeah, I guess I do have the self. Wow. Do you know what I did? Gandhi principle.
Really?
Yep.
It was that simple?
Yeah. Yep, Gandhi principle. I took what you said and I began picking it apart and going backwards. That's why it took me like 3 to 5 minutes. Now, one of the reasons I was able to do that in such a short window of time is because I forced myself to do it myself. Okay, so once you've gone on this journey, once you've actually taken the time to dig into your own belief systems, how you're wired, self-awareness tools help with that. That's why we're so keen on it. But on top of that, once you've gone down that road, you become more aware of your surroundings. You become more aware of the things that you tell yourself. You become more aware of the words that you use, because words do have power. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you're taking the time to speak negative things over your life, meaning you tell yourself, I suck, I'll never get it, this is never going to work, or you have a lot of what if things, then you stand a high likelihood of always staying still and never moving forward. One of the things that we've taught you specifically that you've done really, really well in the category of beliefs is something that we refer to as the challenge thought. Okay. I look at beliefs and negative thoughts and things that come into my mind as something that need immediate attention. Okay. I feel like that a negative belief is a lot like having a robber coming in to steal valuables out of your house. Right? If you don't confront it, if you don't deal with it in the moment, when you wake up, everything that you know, love, and trust will be gone. And you got to start over again. Okay? And I think that's why one of the reasons why you have to take limiting beliefs and beliefs themselves seriously, why you need to spend time getting to know them. And you can do it in safety. Most people, unfortunately, don't confront a limiting belief, and this is a mistake that I made early on, until a crisis happens. Okay, the problem with that is a lot of times you reinforce or anchor further that limiting belief because something happened that was negative. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying if you go and take the most recent negative thing that you've had to walk through and step backwards and walk through the Gandhi principle, the Gandhi process there, you should be able to get to a place where you recognize where that belief ever originated. And once you can discover where the belief originated, now it becomes possible to remove it. Okay? We talk about a principle that we've talked about on the show before called remove and replace. Okay? Same thing with when it comes to people that are still learning their way, like recovering addicts, for example. A lot of recovering addicts have historically have an addictive behavior, but they've also told themselves they're always going to be addicts. Okay. Once they realize that their identity is not tied to that, they actually can heal from that. But in the meantime, one of the things that they have to do is they have to remove the toxic and replace it with something healthy. So there's at least something as a go-to to when that trigger of emotion comes up that you got to deal with it, you got to deal with it, you got to deal with it, you have something to go to.
Instead of the drug.
Exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, when it comes to some of these negative beliefs, I mean, we've been through several of them, you know, in the time that we've been together. What's another belief that you see from the folks that we work with that people tend to struggle with the most? You know,
I've seen a lot of people think they're not smart enough.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I don't know. Like
So next question is, are you born with intellect or can intellect be developed?
So there's difference between intellect and IQ, right? So IQ is just how quickly you can process new information and essentially learn. You know, that's more something you're born with.
Yeah.
But what you know, your knowledge, your actual intellect itself is developed over time.
Okay.
You just have to do the work to study and learn.
Yeah. Exactly. It goes back to one of the other shows we did with the expansive mindset versus rigid mindset, right? Expansive-minded people are looking for creative ways to overcome problems. Rigid-minded people get stuck at the very place that they get resistance. Your belief, when you go to challenge your belief, you can expect, for my highest people out there, I'm sorry, we'll walk with you, we'll help you with it. You don't have to do it by yourself, but you will have to confront that belief and you will face resistance.
Oh, yeah.
The good news is once you face the resistance and been through the storm and been through the battle, you never, ever have to face it again. And when you come out on the other side, you're actually 10 times stronger than you are when you went in to face the belief to begin with.
Resistance is necessary.
Resistance actually builds confidence.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you talk about confidence in the podcast about belief. There's a really great quote that I like by Ed Milet that talks about confidence. And I'm curious if it even has any relevance here in the beliefs discussion, because I think they're somewhat tied. But this quote that I really like goes something like this. It's, confidence comes from keeping the promises we make to ourselves.
Yep.
And I love that quote so much because when I looked back on my belief that I had generated, by the way, those years of failure, I actually eventually found out they weren't because I was trying all this stuff and working my butt off and failing. It was because I kept telling myself that I was going to do the work, and I wasted my time. I didn't do the work. Yeah. I didn't keep the promises. It was basically year after year, I set a New Year's resolution for myself, essentially, except for I didn't wait till New Year's. I did them basically every month. And I was like, all right, this is the month that I take it seriously. And then another month will go by, and I'm the exact same. And I was like, all right, I got this. All right, I'm going to transform. So if you've ever said, okay, I'm going to transform my fitness, this is the time, and you've made yourself that promise over and over again that you're going to go to the gym, and every time you quit, you're killing your belief.
Yeah.
You're killing your confidence.
Well, it's the other thing, too, is you think about it, the older you get, the quicker life moves, which is why you need to start today.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to wait till tomorrow. You don't need to wait next month or next week. You need to get going now. You need to get going now. Stop waiting. Stop kicking the can down the curb. You're not going to get your best life until you get started, right? Face the stuff. We're here to work with you. We're here to help you do it. We're not going anywhere, right? You don't have to face it alone, but you do need to face it, right? If you don't, you're never going to become unstoppable.
If you don't, you're going to stay exactly where you are right now. And I can tell you from experience, that's the most miserable thing. Waking up every single day, every year, every new year, telling yourself the same promise, this year's going to be different. This year's going to be different. After enough years of that, it gets very depressing. I actually got to the point where I was very depressed. Even, I wasn't really what I would consider suicidal, but I was having some thoughts of like, is it even worth it to go on?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that simply not doing what I told myself I was going to do resulted in that level of dangerous belief. Yeah. Guys, this is important. And Absolutely. If I had kept going the way that I was, I don't know that I'd be alive in 10 years. I don't. And only in the last, honestly, 8 months that I've been working here with you, have I begun to turn that around. And I sent you a text message last night talking about how over the moon excited I am about the transformation that I've been seeing, because I can genuinely say I can actually see how I'm going to get there now. I genuinely believe I'll be successful.
And you've got a lot to be excited about right now. Not just from a business perspective, but you've got some
oh yeah, for sure,
some
man.
relational things that are shaping up.
Plenty of areas of my life that are kicking. Yeah, so I'm excited, man.
So are you happy you did the push-ups?
Oh, absolutely. And
I
should have done them much sooner.
But now that you know what you know, are you willing to do the push-ups more often and more consistently?
Dude, now that I know what I know now, I'm going to be itching to do as many push-ups in as short, compressed of a time frame as possible. I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and do a bazillion push-ups if I can, because I recognize that that's what has actually allowed me to grow.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's been extremely uncomfortable, arguably miserable. This process of growth over the last 8 months, he can testify. Through this process of change, I basically woke up yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a completely different space. But literally for the last several months, it's been very uncomfortable, because especially early on, because when you're, let's say, for example, if you're used to sitting on the couch every day and eating potato chips and you're out of shape, okay, and you all of a sudden say, all right, I'm going to go on daily runs. At first, your body's not used to that.
Yeah.
So you're going to be miserable until you get used to it. Then it gets a little bit easier. You form a habit. But it's going to be uncomfortable. And a lot of people, most people, what I used to do, and the reason why I never kept the promises I made to myself, was because of that discomfort. That discomfort caused me to be like, oh, maybe I'll do this tomorrow. Please, guys, don't make that mistake. I learned by basically wasting several years, and it made me miserable. Just go through the discomfort.
There are two people right here on the show telling you
it's supposed to be uncomfortable.
It's supposed to be uncomfortable, but it's also worth it.
100%.
So let's get going, for sure. Well, I'm so glad you actually mentioned that, because the journey isn't always easy, but it is always worth it. There is an emotional pot of gold at the end of it, and out of the emotions comes the actions, and out of the actions comes the results. So if you can get your emotional well-being, get your self-doubt, get your self-belief, get your self-awareness, all that wrapped up, tied down, again, don't make it so overwhelming just because you think you have to face it all at one time. I'm telling you right now, to only focus on one negative belief at a time.
Yeah.
Just one. For some of you, it's going to be your self-image. I'm not pretty or handsome enough. I don't like the way I look. There's going to be that. Look, you can change that. You can work on that.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing stopping you from changing your self-image is you. The only thing stopping you from dressing different is you. The only one you
can get a new hairdo. You can
do
a number of things to.
I see this happen a lot. I'm gonna touch on the physical side for just a minute because I've watched a lot of our tribe in the past struggle with self-value issues as it relates to self-image. And one of the things they say, well, I was always scared to go work on myself because I was scared somebody was going to judge me. Not realizing that the greatest person that's judging you is yourself. Which person is going to do more damage long term?
You.
Mm-hmm. Beliefs are powerful.
You can be your own worst enemy.
And you can also be your own worst superhero.
Or I guess best superhero.
Yeah. Well, yeah, best superhero. I messed that up, didn't I?
But you can be your own hero. Right.
Guys, we're gonna wrap up here in just a second. Beliefs, but know that beliefs are so powerful they can build or destroy. So why not build? Why not get to the bottom of the belief that's holding you back? Why not get to the bottom of the source of how to overcome that belief? What would life look like 12 months, 18 months, 20 months, right? A year. Gosh, 10 years.
I mean, I can tell you this, after 8 months of incremental change, finally, after literally 8 years of staying stuck, I am blown away by how much a simple act of basically finally being willing to go through that discomfort and uncomfortable process of, okay, I don't really want to do this today, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm tired of not doing it and I'm disgusted with the person that I've become, essentially. Mm-hmm. That was the catalyst for me to change. Ultimately, I just got fed up with staying stuck.
Well, I'm glad you stepped out on that journey because unfortunately, there's so many people out there hurting right now, and I say hurting because they're judging themselves on a regular basis, which is preventing them from being all they could be. Right. Most people don't start that journey, which is why we created this company. We created this company, the journey principles, the Transform You curriculum. All of that came out of experiences of pain and hurt that were turned into opportunities and new levels of things, right? This company is built for you. We are built and are here for you to help you succeed, to help you grow, to help you figure out what's holding you back, what's keeping you stuck, help you remove the roadblocks, help you uncover that stuff. And because you're all coming in at different points of starting points, everybody will have to learn content a little bit differently, and certain people will work in certain areas. Like I said, even with beliefs, some will come in and have to work hardcore on the self-image. Some will come in self-worth. Some will come with if this, then that kind of scenario. There's lots of different ways in which we can help you. Guys, we want to partner with you. You can watch as much free content or as much free content as you want. Knock yourself out. We'll keep pumping it out. Hopefully some of it will resonate with you and stick. But if you want to go ahead and take it to the next level and go ahead and get started, go ahead and partner with the Journey Principles. Go ahead and partner with myself, Connor, and our amazing team. Let us help you get traction so you don't have to tackle a belief issue by yourself, right? One of the reasons that we feel like we're qualified to help you is because we've actually challenged these beliefs and overcome these beliefs and have now worked towards a solution.
Exactly.
How else did we figure out the Gandhi principle? It's been there the entire time. Gandhi has been gone for a long, long time, but his entire quote's been there, okay? If you want to work on your belief today, pick one belief, start with the negative outcome, and work backwards until you get all the way to the point where you can discover where that belief originated. Identify it, replace it, practice it, and get going. If you do those things, you'll be incredibly successful. You'll start to overcome your beliefs. We're going to hit beliefs again on the next podcast, super hard. Going to talk about all 4 of them. So we'll see you again on the next Journey Principles. Take care, guys. Love you. I'll see you in the next video. And please, if you don't mind and you enjoyed the life mastery content we're building, consider hitting the subscribe button and also hitting the bell so you'll be the first to get notified anytime we release new content.